Think I can do this shit? Huh?
That was impressive. I wonder where he learned that. Showtime, folks. So, Abigail's brand new release. Talking about, vampires, I guess, is what, we're going into the movie thinking about. Now, initially going into this film, I'd seen the trailer a couple of times. They really marketed it, the fact that Abigail was going to be a vampire and she was going to be chasing everyone around the house pretty heavily. I didn't really think of it was going to be much of a surprise to anybody of what this film was going to be. And you know what? It was fun. It's a genuine fun movie. So for those of you that just want to know right out the gate whether or not it's fun or not, Abigail's fun. All right. So getting into the pros, I do like how over the top this movie was. This is like a completely over the top, enjoy the fun, sit down, eat popcorn, laugh at how crazy this movie is. This movie doesn't take itself too seriously. They know the premise of having a little girl, or what appears to be a little girl, playing a ballerina that's a vampire. They know this movie is just supposed to be over the top, and they hit it pretty hard with that. You know what? Everything about it was crazy fun. That's basically what this movie was. The dialogue wasn't quite, Oscar worthy or anything like that, but the character interactions were fun, and this movie knew exactly what it was. And I can appreciate that, and that's why it's a pro. Another pro I have is the comedy. Surprisingly, the comedy hit pretty well. There was interactions, like I said, between the characters that really made us chuckle. Everybody in the theater was kind of laughing along with it. Particularly one character, I think he goes by the name Peter. He is heavy in his comedic performance, and it's not even anything over the top comedic. It's just the character himself is funny, and he plays his role well, and I appreciated Abigail for that. Getting on to some of the cons, when you talk about a movie like this that's just meant for fun, it's kind of hard to give it cons. Especially because it was just so over the top. It's not really meant to be taken seriously as one of these kind of, deep cinematic experiences where you're searching for the meaning of the film. But if I'm going to give it some cons, one of the things is I think the ending to this film drags on a little too long. I feel like they didn't really know exactly how they wanted to land this thing. And you can tell because there's like 3 different sequences where you're like, okay, so this is going to be the end. Oh, okay, so this is the end. Oh, this is the end. It was a few twirls there. It's a ballet pun. I don't know ballet, so sorry. My bad. Don't unsubscribe. Another con I had with this film is that it was somewhat predictable. I mean, like I said, I don't like giving movies like this too many cons because it's just meant for fun. So I don't want you guys to take this. This is just nitpicky stuff. But some of it was somewhat predictable, and the dialogue was just a little bit expositional. That's all it was. They're like, there's this sequence in particular where they're talking about who these characters are and what their backgrounds are, and it's just very clearly just for exposition purposes. And it really is just to kind of get to know the characters, I guess, before you get into the Abigail stuff. And it's just kind of like, okay, let's get to the good stuff. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. And my last con of this film is that you run into the issue of it being kind of resembling other movies that I've seen. The big one that I kind of saw parallels to, and I believe, don't quote me on the exact title, but I believe it's Ready or Not. There was a lot of parallels there as far as like when it comes down to the final girl versus the opponents. I felt there was something there that reminded me a lot of Ready or Not, and that was just kind of something that I didn't really, not a big con, but it's something that I just saw too many similarities to in my mind, and it was just kind of like one of those things. Do I think Abigail brings back the vampire genre? I think it's hard to say, you know. I feel like vampire movies have gotten a pretty bad slate ever since like Twilight. They even poke fun at it in the movie. You know, they make reference to Twilight. They're like, "What kind of vampire is this? Is this a Twilight vampire?" So that was fun. Like I said, the comedic moments hit, but there's just certain things in there that are kind of just. I mean, it's just a fun movie. That's you know what kind of movie you're getting into. But when I think of a movie like this, and this is just hindsight, I mean, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. But the trailer really gives away something that could have been really fun as a reveal in the movie. For example, I think what Abigail could have done very well was completely hide the fact that Abigail was a vampire, because then you get this kind of aspect of it being somewhat like From Dusk Till Dawn. For those who don't know what From Dusk Till Dawn is, first of all, I should probably go check that out. Second of all, you have this reveal midway through the movie of it turning into like just this crazy vampire movie, which Abigail does, but you know ahead of time because of the trailer. So I feel like if they had just kind of played that a little closer to the chest, the movie would have done a little bit better for me. But Abigail is just a fun movie. That's what you're going in there to watch. You know it's going to be an over-the-top kind of vampire movie that has comedic elements to it, especially if you saw the trailer and you saw ballerina vampire. I mean, what? I don't know what you're expecting going in there, but if you're expecting something that's not over-the-top crazy, I don't know what to tell you. So getting on to my rating. Abigail's a fun movie, like I said. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's over the top. It's well paced. The ending does kind of fall off there a little bit, but it's fun. It is extremely violent, which is fun for most people, you know. It's definitely rated R. I wouldn't go taking small children or anything to go watch this movie, but it's fun. So I think I'd give Abigail a 3 out of 5. It's pretty middle of the road. It's not going to reinvent the vampire genre or anything like that. The comedic elements are fun, but there's not enough there for me to say that I think that they should make a franchise out of it. They might. You know how things go. So it's a 3 out of 5. Ask yourself if you feel lucky. And the reason you have to ask yourself if you feel lucky is because of the comedic elements of this film. That might be enough to keep you entertained. It was enough for me. I liked it. It was definitely over the top, and it was kind of the humor that I really enjoy. But I can see if you're not into the kind of humor that they put into the film, how it could immediately kill the enjoyment for you. It is also over the top violence that some people don't like. But I think they found the balance there of where it's violent and it serves the purpose of being over the top for the movie. It's definitely rewatchable, I think, for a certain group of people. For me, it's not really reinventing the vampire genre. I don't even really think it brings more to the vampire genre as far as something that we can look forward to in the future. I definitely saw little elements of, you know, Megan, which was a movie that came out, I believe, a couple of years ago now. It might have just been last year. You know, it's a little foggy, you know, the COVID years. But I saw elements of Megan in there, just with the vampire, and I'm just looking for a solid vampire movie to bring back that genre. I just feel like that genre has kind of fallen off since Twilight. But Abigail's fun. It's a fun movie. It's a good, positive watch if you want to go out there for a date night or something like that. Definitely check that out. But it's definitely a 3 out of 5. But what did you guys think of Abigail? Did you already see the movie? Are you planning on watching it? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Disagree with what I'm saying? Leave the comments down below what you guys thought. If you haven't, like and share this video, guys. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It really helps us here at Chuco's Powerhouse Cinema keep making videos. We appreciate all the support. Guys, as always, if you're a ballerina and you want to learn how to do these loop-de-doops and stuff like that, just remember something my friend Abigail used to tell me, and that's